guys, Tom here. Got a very special review today. This one's going to go a little bit more in depth and a little bit more in detail, not well, behind the fragrance itself, but in addition, it's going to go more into depth behind the fragrance house. Amouage is one of my absolute favorite fragrance houses, and because of that, and Jubilation 25 being one of my favorite scents, my signature scent, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail, so this may be a long one. In the future, the ones that are my favorites are going to be, like I said, a little bit more in-depth and in detail around the actual making of the fragrances and the fragrance house itself. So the story behind Amouage is quite interesting. For centuries, the perfumes of Arabia have been considered to be the best, and yes, even among the French. 29 years ago, an Omani prince decided that his country, which was renowned since Egyptian times for the quality of its frankincense, it was home to a unique rose which grows there and produces its own fragrance, distinct to any other type of rose, called the rock rose, also known as the green mountain rose, and also on whose beaches over half the world's ambergris lands. They had all these spectacular raw ingredients there, so they decided that they needed a fragrance house that would showcase those. So this Omani prince teamed up with one of the best perfumiers in the world at that time, Guy Robert, and gave him an unlimited budget and told him the sky was the limit and to use whatever raw ingredients would capture the essence of Arabia and Oman. And from that, the House of Amouage was born. And as a result of Guy Robert's efforts, gold fragrance came to be. And like I said, this man was a genius perfumier, and he considered gold to be his symphony, his crowning glory of his career. They went through a period when they were founded where their fragrances were wonderful, top of the line, and then there was a small decrease in quality, and then followed by, some call it their rebirth. And again, it's right up at the top as far as prestige fragrance houses are concerned, and the quality of their fragrance. Jubilation 25, there are two, the XXV for men and 25 for women. It was created by Bernard Duchaufour, and he was the perfumier who designed the Red series of cologne Sequoia, which is also one of my favorites by Comme des Garçons, as well as the incense for Comme des Garçons, Kyoto and Avignon, which both are beautiful. As an aside, Avignon is supposedly the signature scent of Morrissey, if anybody's a music head out there. So he already had the talent with incense and wood when Jubilation 25 was born. And this was launched as part of a gala celebration for their 25th anniversary. The bottle itself, it's beautiful. All of the work on the crystal bottle, the gold detailing around the emblem, the cap, little jewel thing at the top, the Amouage logo at the top, those are all done by hand instead of at a factory, which is kind of interesting, and they are done in Oman. How the fragrance is developed is also kind of interesting, or the manufacturing process behind the House of Amouage. What happens is there's a preliminary brief that's created by Christopher Chung, who's the creative director there, and it's an idea of what the fragrance is to be. That's sent to the south of France, where several noses actually develop the scent. And to do that, they dip long, slender bits of blotters called mouillettes into essential oils and blends to come up with an idea of what they think the brief should smell like. The CEO then tests the sample, and the one that best fits the brief is selected. So it's blended in Grasse, France, and then it's sent to Oman, where it's mixed with alcohol, and there's a maceration process that goes on in Oman, where it's cured and matured, and that usually takes about 8 weeks, and then it's bottled into these beautiful crystal bottles in Oman, and all of the embellishments, the gold and silver, are hand applied, and there are actually pictures on the web that you can see of the ladies sitting at long tables meticulously putting on the little details. It's done by hand and then ready to be shipped, and it goes out from Oman. In addition, there are several attars that Amouage makes, which are the purest form of perfume, and they're tiny little bottles, very expensive. I have never tried them. Amouage is one. There are several that are not available in the United States, so I'm very curious to try one of those, but they're incredibly expensive. As far as the ingredients that go into the Jubilation XXV cologne, it's just like a treasure trove from Arabia, like I said. What they say is that the three wise men from the biblical story who traveled to worship the newborn Christ with frankincense, myrrh, and gold began their journey in Oman, like I said, because of the natural resources in Oman. The actual fragrance itself, sorry, my pug is chewing on his bone there. The actual fragrance itself, it's interesting how the ambergris comes about, or the frankincense comes about. It's like I said, it's a silver frankincense. And what they do is there's a particular type of tree that grows in the mountains of Oman, and they slash the bark 3 times a year, and the resin that comes out of the bark is allowed to come to the front of the tree trunk, and they chisel the resin off. And as far as frankincense, the lighter the resin, the better the quality. The majority of that goes to the Sultanate of Oman, and the quality of the silver frankincense in Jubilation XXV, and it's one of their signature ingredients in most of their fragrances, is supposedly second to none. Very light in color. The rock rose, again, those are only harvested during a special period of time, usually in the evenings, because the fragrance is at its peak then, and those again are in the mountains of Oman, and only place that they grow. As far as Jubilation XXV goes, like I said, it's one of my favorite scents. It's never cloying, never heavy. It's a beautiful, beautiful smell. The 50 milliliter bottle runs around $250. The 100 milliliter, $290. As far as the actual notes go, I get a very bright citrus note at the beginning, which is beautiful. As it dries down, it gets darker and woodier. It's never real heavy. And there's also a fruity, beautiful syrupy note in the background, almost like a fruit liqueur, and that's counterbalanced by the incense. And when I say incense, it's never the churchy incense like you would find coming from Duchefort when he did the Comme des Garçons, the Avignon fragrance, which is more, that's like a high mass, heavy incense. This is a light, beautiful smell that provides a background to that fruity essence. And by the fruity essence, I'm thinking almost like a fruit liqueur, like a Kirsch or something. It's gorgeous, and the combination of that fruity, almost cherry liqueur smell with the incense is just beautiful. So you have that Arabian feel to it. It's sophisticated, elegant. It's a prestige fragrance. It's one of those that you would wear with a suit and tie to go out during the evening. I don't find that its projection is huge. It gets close to the skin after maybe 2-3 hours. I do 3 to 4 sprays. Don't have a problem with it becoming cloying or too heavy on me at all. Maybe that's just my body chemistry though. The notes in it are labdanum, coriander, orange, the silver frankincense, blackberry, honey, bay, cinnamon, the rock rose, orchid, clove, celery seed, gaiac wood, immortelle, musk, ambergris, patchouli, cedar, myrrh, moss, and oud. It's elegant, it's a full but beautiful scent. I think it's the best in the line, in my opinion. I love it, and I could wear it every single day. Just spectacular. So that is my review on Amouage, and I've gone 12 whole minutes. So I hope you're not falling asleep by now. If anyone has tried the Attars, I know there are several that aren't available in the United States. You can get them by mail order. I think it's called Zeras.com. The others are like Molouk Attar. I'm not sure what the other names are. I know here in the US you can get the Amouage Attar. I'm just curious as to what they actually smell like and what you guys think of them. So, any questions, drop me a line. Give me comments if you could, and let me know if you think this is too long. Like I said, the fragrances that are very special to me, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on. So, talk to you later, guys. Have a good day.